shoulder rehab with activation band. So for this exercise, you'll need an activation band. There are various types of activation bands, so don't get the wrong kind. You can get kinds that are extremely thick. These ones we typically use for the legs, okay, when we're trying to do squats. And these ones are also very thick, but much thinner, and you can use these for your shoulders. This is the type that I use for my shoulder rehab, because that's the strength that I've acquired over the 21 years of doing this. When you're starting out, and certainly if you're injured or recovering from a surgery, or you have pain, I would highly recommend you use a tension that does not create any pain at all. That's not the goal of these exercises. You should feel minimal discomfort. So to begin, you'll place the band around your wrists. And you're gonna make fists. And this is going to put you in a position of power. I often see when people are training their shoulders and trying to rehabilitate, they have the tendency to extend their wrists. And the beauty about the activation band is that it doesn't allow you to extend your wrists. So now you're gonna be forced to have a nice straight wrist, because a lot of people, when they do any kind of side movements, their wrists go up. And that actually doesn't really help you develop a shoulder. In fact, it changes the muscles that are going to be recruited, versus coming in through here, then the shoulder is better recruited. So this particular exercise really should be something that you use as a warm-up before you start any type of shoulder training program. Okay, so make those fists, elbows go back, roll those shoulders back, and make sure the band is touching your abdomen. From here, you're just going to open and close your hands. So here you're rotating the wrists out. And remember, as always, with tension, we always move from tension to more tension, never allowing the laxity to be present in the band. Okay. Here, count 20 to 30 reps. Once you've completed your 20 to 30, you move your hands straight down to your hips. Here you're going to try and move your arms off your body. The first 20 degrees of abduction, or movement away from your body, is the responsibility of the muscle called the supraspinatus, which is one of the 4 rotator cuff muscles and the one that's most likely to be injured. So work it here, again, 20 to 30 reps. Once you finish this, you bring your hands up overhead. Sometimes this can hurt, so you might want to drop or bend your arms a little bit. Sometimes you might need to be a bit positioned forward, depending on what your range of motion is in the shoulder. Your first go at this might not be overly comfortable, but if you do it after you've done this whole circuit, you'll notice that your range of motion will improve and you'll get higher reps. So be patient and just move within your pain-free range. Hands apart here, again, create those fists, and you're going to move wide, like so. You can bend your arms a little bit. It just adds a little bit more lat to the movement, which is a big back muscle, okay? And once you've done your 20 to 30, you come right out in front, turn sideways, roll those shoulders back. Don't forget your fists. And here you're just gonna open and close the hands again, away from the body, working the back of the shoulder. Once you've completed those, you're going to bring your hands behind your back. Make your fists and open and close through here. It's important to target both the front and the back of this particular side muscle for the shoulder. If you only ever train it in the front, you'll only ever get the front fibers of that muscle. It is made up of 3 different fibers, so by positioning your hands behind your back, you'll get a little bit of the back of that muscle. And naturally, all these exercises are going to be performed on the floor, and then we'll isolate left and right sides. So, you'll lie down, and we'll do the exact same thing. Position the band around your wrist. When you're in line, because you have stability now, you have the floor assisting you, you're going to notice that the tension is going to go up slightly. You might want to change the band color to something a little bit harder, or not, just stay where you want. But when you're lying on your back, it's important, as I did in standing, I rolled my shoulders back, so you're going to do the same thing. And you're going to tuck those shoulders down towards your bottom as best as you can, because you want your body to be in the mold that you want to develop your muscle in. If you're training like this, that's exactly how you're going to develop your muscle, which is not in your best interest. So tuck those shoulders back and tuck that chin in. And again, external rotation. Elbows are in contact with the floor, using that floor as a guide to make sure that your elbows aren't coming up off the floor. And you're just gonna move through here. Once you've done your 10 or 20 to 30, you move your arms overhead, working up top, as we did in standing. And then straighten out those legs, bring your hands down to the bottom, working here. And the order isn't overly important. You can change the order, doesn't really matter, you're getting the same muscles. And in fact, it's probably a good idea to change up the order every so often. Keeping the fists. If you're more advanced and you're certain that your wrist position is effective, you can keep your fingers relaxed. But as a beginner, I would encourage you to keep those fists positioned properly the whole time. And then finally, the arms come straight up, and you do the same thing for the back of your shoulder, always moving in tension to more tension, in control, not letting any slingshot happen. Once you've completed those, you then rotate to the side of your body. Here, you gotta make sure that your shoulder is directly beneath you and that your elbow is tucked in just above your hip. And we're going to isolate now. So from here, you're going in, if you want the yoga block for your head because you have neck issues, just put a yoga block under your head and your neck will be neutral. And then here, you're going to do your external rotation for your right side. And indirectly, your left side is getting some work too because it's not moving with you, it's staying down. And that's called an isometric contraction. So basically, you're holding that muscle in one position and not allowing it to shorten or lengthen. Then arms straight, straighten out your legs, and just lift straight up, isolating that medial delt and the initiation of that rotator cuff muscle. Then you can move straight out to your arm position here and lifting. Remember, you've got to really try hard to keep that bottom arm down, and you'll notice that that bottom arm gets a little bit fatigued as well. And then last position, overhead, 20 to 30. When you've completed that, you then rotate to the other side. Tuck the shoulder directly underneath you. Elbow is tucked in nice and tight just above the hip. Hand stays down on the ground, and off you go, rotating 20 to 30 times. Positioning the arms down, raising the arm off the ground. 20 to 30 times. All the way overhead. 20 to 30 times. Trying to keep that bottom arm down is going to be a little harder because this lat muscle that we're working now is a lot stronger than the other ones. And then directly out front, rear delts. And that is your shoulder rehab activation bend exercise.